Good morning to our Director Sir, Principal Sir, Vice Principal Sir, Dean Sir, Academic Coordinator, teachers, and my dear fellow cadets. Welcome everyone to another exciting meeting of VSS Toastmastersclub. Let's start the episode 16 with national song. Exactly what's happening in India's neighbor countries, I will present why Rohith.
Permission to begin, sir. India's foreign policy towards its neighbors. What is India's current approach towards its neighbors? India's foreign policy often emphasizes the dominance in the region. This includes flexing muscles and influencing political developments in neighboring countries like Nepal, Bangladesh, Maldives and Sri Lanka. However, this has created mistrust and anti-India sentiment. Why is India's neighborhood policy facing challenges? Point number 1. Hostile regimes. Countries like Nepal, Maldives and Sri Lanka currently have leadership critical of India. Nepal's PM, KP Oli and Maldives Mohammad Muzu have opposed Indian influence. Point number 2. Shifting alliances. Nepal and Bhutan are leading towards China for counterbalancing India's dominance. Point number 3. Perceived interference. India's role in Nepal's democratic transition. The 2015 blockade and meddling in Nepalese domestic politics are viewed negatively. Point number 4. Growing anti-India sentiments. Anti-India narratives in Bangladesh, Maldives and other nations are gaining traction, often exploited for political gains. Point number 5. Strategic failures. India's interventions often lack of clear benefits. For example, Indian agencies allegedly covert action in Nepal are perceived poorly. Point number 6. Competition with China. China's growing economic and political influence challenges India's position in the region. What is India's historical approach to neighborhood relations? Point number 1. Vajpayee's initiative. In 1999, Atal Bihari Vajpayee initiated a peace with Pakistan by taking a bus ride to Lahore, emphasizing importance of good neighborly relations. Point number 2. Manmohan Singh's policy. In 2008, he promoted the neighborhood first policy, prioritizing regional relations. Point number 3. Modi's action. In 2014, Narendra Modi have invited regional leaders to his viewing and made surprise visits like the one to Lahore in 2015. Point number 4. Current scenario. Despite efforts, relations have strained with issues in Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan and Sri Lanka, reflecting challenges in India's neighborhood approach. What are the consequences of India's current neighborhood strategy? Point number 1. Strained relations with Bangladesh. India closest ally for 15 years. Bangladesh is now in crisis. Dhaka's role for securing India's notice is critical, but the current instability jeopardizes this relationship. Point number 2. Deterioration with Pakistan. Since August 2019, changes in Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistan has almost fully broken up from India, leading to heightened tensions. Point number 3. Increased distrust with Nepal. Nepal altered its national maps to include Indian territories, showing a significant rise in distrust. This move was unanimously endorsed by Nepal's parliament. Point number 4. Growing anti-India sentiments. In Sri Lanka, Maldives and Bhutan, India perceived hectoring nationalist rhetoric have caused negative reactions. For instance, rise of Mohammad Muzu in Maldives was fueled by an Indian out campaign. Point number 5. Pressure on Bhutan. Bhutan faces intense pressure from China to settle its border dispute, potentially compromising its close relationship with India. Point number 6. Media and public opinion. Aggressive media, politics and ultra-nationalists. Social media have exacerbated this issue, worsening India's image in the region. What should be done? Point number 1. Adopt softer diplomacy. Shift focus from muscular strategies to cultural and intellectual engagement. For example, offer more scholarships and internships to students from neighboring countries. Point number 2. Strengthen educational ties. Improve academic institutions to attract students from neighboring countries who currently study overseas. For example, encourage cultural performances and movie exchanges. Point number 3. Reduce religious overtones. Avoid highlighting religious visits in diplomacy as seen in Nepal and Bangladesh, which may alienate and Muslim majority neighbors. Point number 4. Engage in inclusive policy. Respect sovereignty and public opinion in neighboring countries. For example, the 2015 blockade against Nepal harmed relations. Point number 5. Promote economic cooperation. Continue vital economic linkages like power trade with Nepal, Bangladesh and Bhutan while reducing nationalist rhetoric in the media. India needs a comprehensive strategy to handle its neighbors, focusing on both bilateral and regional relations. Economic interdependence can be leveraged as seen India's role in Sri Lanka and the Maldives. India can be also a growth engine for the region and lead efforts on issues like climate change, beginning with its subcontinental neighbors. Address security concerns in Northeast, particularly with Bangladesh's instability, Pakistan's terrorism, and the Myanmar civil war. India should avoid relying solely ruling elites, as seen in Bangladesh with Sheikh Hasina. Engaging broader political groups can reduce anti-India sentiment. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Principal sir, vice principal sir, coordinator ma'am, teachers and all dear cadets of Veritas Sainik school. I am Chaithra of grade 5C. Today my topic is about PM Vidyalaxmi. On November 6, 2024, the Union Cabinet chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi approved a new central sector scheme, PM Vidyalaxmi, which seeks to provide financial support to meritorious students applying for higher education. Students will now eligible to get collateral-free, guarantee-free loans from banks and financial institutions. To cover the full amount of tuition fees and other expenses related to the course. It is a new central sector initiative aimed at supporting meritorious students financially so they can pursue higher education without economic constraints. This scheme is rooted in the National Education Policy 2020, which advocates for financial assistance to deserving students across both public and private higher education institutions. The scheme is rooted in the National Education Policy 2020, which advocates for financial assistance to deserving students across both public and private higher education institutions. What does the scheme cover? The government has said that students who have gained admissions in 860 parity higher education institutions as defined by the National Institution Ranking Framework NIRF are eligible for the loans. This scheme will potentially cover 22 lakh students, a Minister of Education spokesperson said. For students with a random family income of up to 8 lakhs and not eligible under any other government scholarship, a 3% of interest subvention loans up to 10 lakhs will be provided during the moratorium period. The interest subvention support will be given to 1 lakh students every year. Preference will be given to the students from government institutions who have opted for technical or professional courses. An outlay of 3,600 crores has been made during 2024, 2025 to 2030, 2031. And 7 lakh plus students are expected to get the benefit of this interest subvention during the period, the ministry added. Let's institutions. Both of proposed the income cap and the amount of money to be disbursed. For example, students can apply for loans through the Vidyalaxmi portal, which simplify loan application and has links to all major public sectors as well as private banks. It also facilitates the tracking of the loan status. Moreover, while previous schemes offer benefits to only low-income groups, the Vidyalaxmi expands coverage to middle-income families, irrespective of other factors such as caste. For earlier schemes, the eligible institutions needed to be accredited with the National Assessment and Accreditation Council, NAAC, National Board of Accreditation, NBA, with 820 universities of NAAC and 15,501 colleges, along with 3,300 NBA institutions. The total was about 20,000 institutions. However, under Vidyalaxmi, only NIRF rankings are eligible. This means that the scheme is applicable to all government and private institutions ranked within the top 100 in NIRF ranking in the overall list. Professor O.R.S. Rao, Chancellor, ICFII University, Sikkim, who helped to compare the list of institutions eligible for the scheme. What are the implications? The government has said that rankings are now becoming more and more important, with loan eligibility being conditional on them, as this scheme significantly reduces the number of eligible institutions. Banker Thomas Frank said that this makes it difficult for students who do not have excellent marks to avail the loan. Conclusion: the PM Vidyalaxmi scheme is a transformative initiative in India's education financing landscape. This scheme ensures that financing limitations do not hinder the deserving students by pursuing quality higher education by offering collateral freedom, guarantee freedom, and interest subvention. Thank you, Jai.
Reliance Day, Stampede in Hyderabad, and recently Stampede happened in Tirupati. And 2 days back, Mahakumbha Mela, Stampede in Uttar Pradesh. When we look into this, it's a pathetic situation. To know why and how, I introduce Devesh from 5th B.
Permission to begin, sir. Thanks to all the dignitaries, teachers, and all the cadets of Veritas Sainik School. My name is M. Devesh Reddy of grade 5th B. Today's speech topic: Stampede disasters and its management in India. In the recent stampede during its religious gathering in Uttar Pradesh, Hathras district on July 2nd. At least 111 people, almost all women, had lost their lives. This is not a first time when a large number of people had lost their lives in a stampede at religious gathering. 79% of all the stampedes from 1954 to 2012 had lost their lives in a stampede at religious gathering. This calls for a detailed look into the issues of the stampede disasters and the measures needed to be taken to manage it. Stampede. Stampede is the disruption of the orderly movement which leads to injuries and fatalities. This impulsive mass movement often takes place in response to a loss of physical or space will to attain something else gratifying. Stampede statistics in India. According to the National Crime Bureau figures from 2000 to 2013, almost 2,000 people died in stampede in India. A 2013 study is published by International Journal of Risk Reduction (IJDRR) points out that religious gathering and pilgrimage have been venues of the 79% of all the stampedes in India. The major causes of the stampedes in India. Structural causes. The stampedes occur due to structural and design failures in the bridges, buildings, etc. This includes the following causes: structural collapse in makeshift of bridges, railings, temporary structures. Non-availability of fire extinguishers in working condition. Building and fire code violations. Building and fire code violations unauthorized built structure. Difficult terrain. Famous religious sites built on top on hills that are difficult to access. Narrow streets with very few entry or exits. Absence of emergency exits. Fire or electricity causes. Fire in makeshift of facility or shop and illegal and unauthorized structure. Electricity supply failure creating.
due to panic and triggered a sudden exodus. Illegal electric connections and faulty electric equipment. Crowd behavior. The Stampede either triggered or made worse by panic. The crowd behavior plays an important role in it. Following are some crowd behavior. Craze. This craze percolates to every member and can make them act in detriment to their own individual interests. For example, one of the major behind the recent hazards has been the rush to touch the preacher's feet and trying to collect soil from where he walked. Crowd forcing to enter or exit the venue after the start or closing time. Rush during distribution of disasters with supply. Large much more than expected, anxious and competitive road gatherings at promotional events. Unruly and irresponsible crowd behavior. Last chance minute in platform for train arrival or departure resulting in lots of movement within short period of time. Security issues. This includes security personnel, under-deployment of security staff and deployment of untrained staff. Lack of adequate rehearsals and briefings on security personnel on crowd control. Lack of adequate scientific planning in making police arrangements and to deal with crowd with proper sectoral deployment and lack of proper wireless deployment. Trauma and loss, economic and hardship, erosion of trust and loss of human capital. Impact of Stampede, health issues, injuries and loss of life. Example, recently a woman died at the movie theatre while watching Pushpa 2 in Hyderabad because of Stampede. Properties will be damaged. There will be no social meetings. In conclusion, we need to be very careful and to follow in the proper order for the better management gatherings. Legislation, rules and regulations for Stampede and use of technology, specialization and professionalism and learning from global best practices. Thank you, Jay. Topic 4. International attempts towards environmental protection commenced almost 3 decades ago. Several international agreements have been signed till now, aimed at protecting the environment. The issue change in lifestyle has been discussed by efforts, but we inadequate efforts made by humanity towards changes in lifestyle at an individual level. If lifestyle is unsustainable at the individual level, it will not be practically possible for the world government to act upon sustainable growth and development. Parties yes, humanity may face upon COVID-19 kind of pandemic in coming times more often. To discuss on this theme elaborately, I would like to invite Hruthika.
Today, I am going to tell about the speech on COP29. COP29. At the COP29 climate conference in Baku, countries reached a landmark decision to advance the long-delayed agreement to establish the global carbon market under the Paris Agreement. While the agreement on carbon market is seen as a breakthrough, the critical issue of climate finance remains unresolved with developing nation emphasis the need for an updated substantial founding goal. What is COP? The Conference of Parties, COP South as the main governing body, United Nations Favour Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC. The UNFCCC is a 1992 treaty uniting 198 members, 197 nations plus European Union against the threats of climate change. Each year, the COP gathers, review nation emissions data, monitor progress and global shape of climate policy. Each year, the COP gather, review nation emissions data, monitor progress and global shape of climate policy. Key milestones of COP. Kyoto Protocol 1997 established at COP 3. It mandated emission reductions for industrialized countries, setting a collective target 4.2% reductions by 2012 from 1990 levels. Copenhagen Accord 2009. COP 15 introduced 2 degrees Celsius warming limit and the concept of developing nation emphasis funding climate actions. Vulnerable nations thought it fell short of delivering new binding treaty. Paris Agreement 2015. COP21, the landmark Paris Agreement, set a goal to limit the global warming to below 2 degrees Celsius, ideally 1.5 degrees Celsius. Our nationally determined contributes NDCs for each country. Glasgow Pact 2021. COP26 led to Glasgow Pact, which include commitments to reduce the coal usage and phase out of inefficient fossil fuel subsidies, marking coal with UN climate agreement for the first time. Loss and damage fund 2023. COP28 launched a fund to support affected by climate disasters, addressing long-standing calls for financial assistance to those bearing the brunt of climate change. Citizens of COP. Failure to deliver climate finance. Developed countries, despite their 2009 pledges to provide 100 billion annually, developing nations have yet to meet this promise. A 2021 UN report projected that 2 degrees Celsius, 6 trillion per year through 2032 cross-border cooperation. Insufficient emissions reductions. While the COP's limits of emission pledges, these efforts remain the inadequate. International Energy Agency COP28 indicated that even with existing pledges, the world is surpassing 1.5 degrees Celsius warming threshold. Agreement on Global Carbon Market COP29. Carbon markets overview. The global carbon market outlined under Article 6 allows countries to trade credit certified emissions reductions. This aims to provide financial incentives in emissions reductions with prices set by emissions caps and emissions caps established the participating nations. Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. It facilitates international collaboration to lower carbon emissions. It offers two pathways. Companies or countries to drive carbon offsets, supporting achievement of climate disasters, and long-standing calls for addressing to those bearing the brunt of climate change. The first article, known as Article 6.4, Article 6.2 allows countries to establish bilateral carbon trading agreement under their own terms. The second article, 6.2, seeks to develop centralized UN managed system, enable both countries or companies to trade carbon offsets. Significance of this milestone. Carbon market last segment 2015, the Paris Agreement set a goal to limit the global warming below 2 degrees Celsius, ideally 1.5 degrees Celsius, or nationally determined contributes further each country. India's role in COP29's legacy. Indian negotiators emphasize that finance should be grant-based, low interest and long-term, with a balanced focus on adaptation, mitigation and addressing loss and damage. Emphasis on adaptation for vulnerable communities. Given the climate often flavors mitigation and projects and its in India and its G77 allies call for stronger support and its stronger support call for in adaptation initiative, particularly communities at high risk from climate change impact. Conclusion. President Muktar Bombay highlights the potential for a Article 6 of the Paris Agreement reduce the coal usage, global cost of climate change, and estimated 250 billion per year through cross-border cooperation. With this, I conclude my speech. Thank you and Jai Hind. Our developmental achievements today look ugly in front of ensuring dangerous of climate change. The limitless demand of mankind can never be met by the limited resources of the earth. The concern was brought to notice why back in 1972 by the Club of Rome. We find a very wise appeal coming from M.K. Gandhi, late 1930s. Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not for every man's greed. People need to introspect more than the COP29 or 30. Topic 5. Now I need to recall an item like fighting or losing battle, because this item is suitable for antimicrobial resistance. To put it simple, when bacteria or other microbes develop resistance to antibiotics,
treatments became effective and making it harder to cure diseases or infections. This is similar to situation where some keeps fighting but has little chance of winning, like antibiotics losing their effective against resistant microbes. To give scientific knowledge of information, I request Mohith to come forward.
Today's my topic is about combating antimicrobial resistance AMR. The recent United Nations Organization urgent call for action against antimicrobial resistance AMR highlights AMR as a global health threat, outlines key targets and emphasizes sustainable use of antimicrobials across sectors, especially healthcare and agriculture by 2030. AMR stands for antimicrobial resistance, where bacteria, viruses, fungi and parasites no longer respond to medicines. This makes infections harder to treat. It threatens human, animal and plant health. Misuse of antibiotics in humans and animals since the 1950s has worsened this problem. World Health Organization warned about spacing out in food production in 2000. What is AMR and why it is a threat? Antimicrobial resistance AMR occurs when microbes become resistant to drugs used to treat them. Drug-resistant infections are difficult to treat and cause many deaths. In 2021, AMR caused 1.14 million deaths globally, with the highest budget in South Asia and Africa. Older adults are most vulnerable, with deaths in those aged 70 plus increasing by 80% between 1990 and 2021. Projections by economist Jim Mooney in 2014 estimated that AMR could cause 10 million annual deaths by 2015. The consequences of AMR: health setbacks. AMR could reverse progress in treating infectious diseases like tuberculosis and malaria due to drug-resistant strains. Common surgeries and cancer treatments become more riskier and more expensive. Disproportionate impact. Low and middle income countries are hit hardest due to poverty and inequality, worsening global health inequality. Economic losses. The World Bank estimates that AMR could result in up to $1 trillion in healthcare costs by 2050, comparable to the 2008 global financial crisis. Death toll. AMR is linked to 4.95 million human deaths annually. The UN aims to reduce this by 10% by 2030. Agricultural impact. Misuse of antimicrobials in industrial food production since the 1950s exacerbated in humans and animals. The UN strategy to fight AMR. Reducing AMR-related deaths. The UN aims to lower bacterial AMR-related deaths by 10% by 2030, currently estimated at 4.95 million annually. Funding and support. The UN advocates for sustainable national financing, including $100 million in cadets funding to ensure 60% of countries have funded national action plans by 2030. Antimicrobial usage. At least 70% of antimicrobials used in human healthcare should belong to World Health Organization access group, known for fewer side effects and a lower risk of causing AMR. Healthcare facility standards. All countries must have basic water, sanitation, hygiene and waste management in healthcare facilities, and 90% should meet World Health Organization access group. Infection prevention and control IPC standards by 2030. Agriculture sector. The agri-food sector must prioritize responsible for antimicrobial use, ensuring evidence-based practices for animal health. What has India done to combat AMR? India launched its National Action Plan (NAP) on AMR in 2017. It monitors AMR trends through national networks and has expanded to secondary level hospitals. The National Essential Diagnostics List mandates microbiology labs in district hospitals, improving local surveillance. India also has AMR surveillance for livestock, poultry and fisheries. What challenges remain in India's fight against AMR? AMR surveillance lacks a national footprint and governance mechanisms need strengthening. Funding gaps and coordination issues slow the effective rollout of NAPs. Efforts to antimicrobial consumption must be sustained and expanded. What more can India do to tackle AMR? India should improve its governance and accountability in its next NAP or AMR. India should investing in healthcare systems is crucial for infection control, vaccine uptake and antimicrobial stewardship. Developing new drugs, diagnostics and vaccines through research is essential. India needs ambitious actions to better protect the public health and reduce the AMR burden. According to Public Central, National Institutes of Health (NIH), basic science research should be further study antimicrobial resistance, epidemiology, according to vaccines, vaccine uptake and antimicrobials. Causes. AMR can occur naturally, but human activity like the misuse and overuse of antimicrobials accelerates the process. And other factors include low quality medicines, wrong prescriptions and poor infection prevention and control effects. AMR makes infections difficult or impossible to treat, which can lead to severe illness, disability and death. Thank you, Jay.
Now I would like to invite dignitaries on the dais to comment about the episode and also declare the winner.
Jai all of you. I am very happy to announce the results of Toastmastersclub. The results goes like this. Cadet G. Chaithra of 5th C, who spoke about PM Vidyalaxmi, stood first with 23.45 points.
NCC clap, शुरू कर.
And very narrowly followed by the second position. Second position goes to Cadet Y. Rohith, who spoke of 5th C again, who spoke about India's foreign policy towards its neighbors. He got 23.25, 0.2 marks difference. It's really a very narrow margin that shows the level of competition that they have competed. Second position goes to Cadet Y. Rohith.
NCC clap, शुरू कर.
Third position goes to Cadet P. Hruthika of 5th A, who spoke on COP29. She got 21.65 marks and stood third.
NCC clap, शुरू कर.
Followed by M. Devesh, Cadet M. Devesh, who got 20.65. I'm sorry. Followed by fourth position is by Cadet A. M. Mohith, who got 20.90. And fifth position, Cadet M. Devesh, who got 20.65. Once again, very narrow margin between fourth position and fifth position. 0.3525 points. Very less margin. The competition is very tough and narrow. We got very tough time to judge the first, second, third. Congratulations to all the winners.
NCC clap, शुरू कर. NCC clap, शुरू कर.
Located, sir. Okay, sir.
Second position, Cadet Y. Rohith.
NCC clap, शुरू कर.
Look at sir. Okay, sir.
Third position by cadet P. Hruthika.
एनसीसी क्लब शुरू कर।
Cadet A. Mohith.
एनसीसी क्लब शुरू कर।
Okay.
Last but not the least, cadet M. Devesh.
एनसीसी क्लब शुरू कर।
Okay, sir.
Now I would like to hand over my mic to the CH Karthikeyan.
जय हिंद। जय हिंद। एक जोश जो है हमेशा रहना, अगर कितना भी तकलीफ हो, अगर धूप में बैठने से भी हिम्मत, जैसा कंपटीशन का जैसा टोस्टमास्टर्स जो पार्टिसिपेंट्स है सभी को कंग्रेचुलेशन। सो कंपटीशन का लेवल जो है 1 to 2 मार्क्स का अंदर टॉप, सभी जो पार्टिसिपेंट 5 स्टूडेंट्स का बिटवीन का जो डिफरेंसेस है 2 मार्क्स। तो इस लेवल का कंपटीशन होना चाहिए। तो अभी कंपटीशन लेवल सिर्फ स्कूल लेवल पे है, मेरा ख्याल से नेक्स्ट जो है कमिटमेंट होना चाहिए। एंटायर स्कूल का माइंडसेट जो है स्टेट लेवल, नेशनल लेवल जो भी कंपटीशन स्टूडेंट्स के लिए होता है, इंटर स्कूल, इंटर जोनल वाइज, जोन वाइज, स्टेट वाइज जो कॉम्पिटिशन्स होता है, उस कॉम्पिटिशन्स का लेवल पे नेक्स्ट लेवल जो है अपना स्कूल का स्टैंडर्ड जो है क्यों मिस्टेक हुआ करके फाइंड आउट करके उस मिस्टेक को अगर आप रेक्टिफाई करेगा, डेफिनेटली आप नेक्स्ट टाइम जो है विनर बनेगा। विनर बनने के बाद हमेशा के लिए आप सोचते रहना तो नेक्स्ट कंटिन्यू करने के लिए मैं क्या करना। सो वर्क माइंडसेट जो भी है, फियर, गुड फियर होना चाहिए। वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी जिसको होता है वो आदमी हमेशा सक्सेस को नजदीक रहता है, हमेशा सक्सेस पर्सन बनता है। वही इंस्पिरेशन, मतलब स्पोर्ट्स में हो, कल्चरल एक्टिविटीज में हो, या नहीं तो एकेडमिक्स, या नहीं तो सर्विस, डिफरेंट फील्ड्स है। जो भी फील्ड में आप चूज करेगा उसमें आप हमेशा ट्राई करना, सर्वाइवल के लिए नहीं, बेस्ट के लिए ट्राई करना चाहिए। स्टूडेंट अभी आपको उसका वैल्यू सबको मालूम नहीं होगा, काफी स्टूडेंट्स के लिए मालूम है। सो मैं कैसा पढ़ना, क्यों पढ़ना, किस परसेंटेज लेना, हर चीज में रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी कैसे। मेजॉरिटी स्टूडेंट्स वेरी गुड, फ्यू स्टूडेंट मतलब 5 to 10% स्टूडेंट जो भी है इनडिसिप्लिन एंड एकेडमिक परफॉर्मेंस जो भी वीक है उसको रेक्टिफाई करना, ताकि अगर 90% स्टूडेंट सक्सेस होने से भी अगर 10% पे अच्छा नहीं होने से वो स्कूल के लिए, उस फैमिली के लिए, इस देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं होगा। इसलिए हर स्टूडेंट 7% स्टूडेंट जो भी है वो बेस्ट, पर्पसफुली, एकेडमिकली, कैरेक्टर वाइज हर चीज में जो है बेस्ट होने के लिए ट्राई करना। आपके लिए जो भी सपोर्ट है, टीचर्स हैं, प्रिंसिपल सर, डीन सर, डायरेक्टर सर, सब आपके साथ में है। तो मे भी आप लोग के लिए जो भी चाहिए तो हम अरेंज करने के लिए तैयार हैं। लेकिन जो भी एस्टैब्लिशमेंट में जो प्रोवाइड करता है हर चीज को भी आप संभाल के रखना, सो आपका खुद का चीज का जैसा उसको मेंटेन करना, तब जाके इंस्टीट्यूशन का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हमेशा डेवलप होते जाएगा। जितना डेवलप होगा उतना स्टूडेंट्स के लिए भी फायदा होगा। आप सभी जैसा डिसिप्लिन में काफी मतलब नंबर ऑफ फंक्शंस में मैं कभी कभी जा रहा हूँ, सो वो फंक्शंस में देखने से आई थिंक अपना स्कूल का जो स्टैंडर्ड है, स्टूडेंट का डिसिप्लिन है, जो बैठने का और सुनने का, तो द बेस्ट आउटस्टैंडिंग डिसिप्लिन है। सो ये डिसिप्लिन सिर्फ किसी दूसरा का सामने बैठते वक्त भी नहीं है, जिंदगी में सुबह से लेकर शाम तक 365 डेज होल लाइफ उसको मेंटेन करना, तब जाके आपको द बेस्ट रिजल्ट्स मिलेगा, बेस्ट अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिलेगा और अपॉर्चुनिटीज का क्रिएट भी कर सकते हैं आप लोग। इसके लिए आगे सो स्कूल का जो नेक्स्ट 2 to 3 इयर्स का जो ड्रीम है, तो एनडीए में मैक्सिमम स्टूडेंट्स जाना चाहिए, क्योंकि अभी स्कूल का जो 4 इयर्स ओल्ड स्कूल हो गया, सो नेक्स्ट जो है सो नेक्स्ट टारगेट जो है एंटायर स्कूल का माइंडसेट ऐसा होना चाहिए, अपना स्कूल से मैक्सिमम स्टूडेंट जो है नेशनल डिफेंस अकेडमी जाना चाहिए। नेशनल डिफेंस अकेडमी के लिए अगर कोई भी जाना जाता है, ऑफिसर बनना जाता है, वो लाइफ जो है जिंदगी में कहीं भी जाओ, कितना भी पैसा कमाओ, वो लाइफ नहीं मिलेगा। इसलिए मैक्सिमम स्टूडेंट्स एनडीए का प्रिपरेशन के लिए even 6 to 7 बेसिक प्रिपरेशन, 8th 9th 10th एंड 11th 12th 5 इयर्स। सो 5 इयर्स का अगर प्लान कोई भी बन के अगर सो प्रॉपर गाइडेंस लेने से आप लोग जो है इस स्कूल से सो 20 to 30 स्टूडेंट्स, क्योंकि 200 स्टूडेंट्स है, 200 स्टूडेंट्स में अगर 10% भी जाएगा तो 20 स्टूडेंट्स मिनिमम जा सकता है। अगर 20 to 30 स्टूडेंट्स मिनिमम अगर एनडीए में इस स्कूल से जाएगा तो इस स्कूल का जो वैल्यूज और कमिटमेंट और स्टूडेंट का क्वालिटी और नेशनल नीड ये सभी फुलफिल होगा। तो आपका पर्सनल लाइफ, नेशनल रिक्वायरमेंट, फैमिली रिक्वायरमेंट, हर चीज फुलफिल होगा। इसलिए स्टूडेंट्स हमेशा 8th स्टैंडर्ड में जो भी है वो नेक्स्ट 5 इयर्स, 9th 10th वाला जो है 4 to 3 इयर्स का जो प्लान है ऐसा होना चाहिए। हर दिन हर मिनट जो है प्रॉपर यूटिलाइजेशन होना चाहिए। तो एनडीए हर समय पर आपका डिस्कशन क्या होना चाहिए, एनडीए का फ्यूचर में किस टाइप ऑफ किस स्टैंडर्ड पे एग्जामिनेशन होगा, उसका क्वेश्चन पेपर कैसा होगा, उसका मटेरियल स्टैंडर्ड्स क्या है, उसका हम किस तरीका से प्रिपेयर होना चाहिए करके आप लोग हमेशा डिस्कशन जो है विद इन द प्रीमिसेस, हॉस्टल या क्लासरूम या स्टूडेंट घर में जाने के बाद भी रिलेटेड मटेरियल लेके, रिलेटेड बुक्स, नंबर ऑफ बुक्स मिलेगा उसको लेके पर्सनल, मतलब एक तो स्कूल प्रिपरेशन के साथ साथ पर्सनल प्रिपरेशन भी होना चाहिए, ताकि एनडीए का जो इतना टफ भी नहीं है, इतना इजी भी नहीं है। जो प्रॉपर प्रिपरेशन होगा डेफिनेटली जो एनडीए क्रैक कर सकता है, क्योंकि इस स्कूल उसी पर्पस के लिए एस्टैब्लिश होगा जिस पर्पस के लिए हमने एस्टैब्लिश किया। अगर वो पर्पस सही नहीं हो पाएगा तो फिर स्कूल का एस्टैब्लिश करने का कोई मतलब ही नहीं। इसलिए हर स्टूडेंट का लास्ट मोमेंट में आके 12th स्टैंडर्ड में आके 1 महीना में, 2 महीने में, 6 महीने में पढ़ के हमने ये करेंगे करके मत सोचना। हर दिन जो है सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन होना चाहिए, कैरेक्टर होना चाहिए। सो नेक्स्ट 5 इयर्स का जो प्लान है, आप 5 इयर्स अगर मेहनत करके सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन और कमिटमेंट होने से 5 इयर्स के बाद आपका जिंदगी ऐसा होगा, एंटायर नेशन वाइड लेस देन 0.1%, मतलब 1% भी नहीं है, टॉप 0.1% में जो लाइफ है वो लाइफ को आप लीड कर सकते हैं। इवन 17 ईयर्स एज से 100 ईयर्स एज तक, मतलब आपका लाइफ को ऐसा होगा ट्रेमेंडस में गोल्डन लाइफ जो है वो एक ऑफिसर बनने से आपको मालूम होगा। क्योंकि सो सबको अवेयरनेस नहीं है, वो अवेयरनेस के लिए भी क्या जो भी आपको रिक्वायरमेंट है, वीडियोस वगैरह, लाइफ कैसा होता है वो सब कलेक्ट करके रखा हुआ है, सो वो भी आपको दिखाएंगे। सो आप लोग हमेशा प्रिपरेशन में रहना। सो सक्सेस फेलियर बाद में देखा जाएगा। हर दिन का जो मोटिवेशन ऐसा होना चाहिए, मैं टारगेट रीच होना चाहिए, 17 ईयर्स एज में रीच होना चाहिए। अगर 17 ईयर्स में एक स्टूडेंट ऑफिसर बनेगा, वो 30-35 ईयर्स में इतना एक्सपीरियंस पर्सनालिटी बनेगा, मे बी सोसाइटी के लिए इंस्पिरेशन बन सकता है। 30-35 ईयर्स में आप उस लेवल पे पहुंच जाएगा। अगर 60 ईयर्स एज में आप इस देश का टॉप लेवल, मतलब इस देश को जो चलाने वाला है सो डिफेंस ऑफिसर्स या सिविल सर्वेंट या पॉलिटिशियन, सो टॉप लेवल में आप 40 to 50 ईयर से बेस्ट प्लेस में रीच हो सकता है इस देश के लिए, और आप रिसोर्स पर्सन बन सकता है। तो बनने का जैसा आपका माइंड सेट होना चाहिए, आपका हर दिन का इफेक्टिव प्रिपरेशन भी होना चाहिए। थैंक यू, जय हिंद।
एनसीसी क्लब शुरू कर।
Request these to kindly. Jai Hind to all of you. First of all, heartiest congratulations to all the participants today. They have done extremely well. This is one of the best episodes of this academic session, I can tell you. These 10 to 11 years old children, 5th standard children can speak like this. We are overwhelmed by their performance. Winning and losing is secondary thing. The topic chosen is of very, very high standard. If you are able to prepare and stand here, all of them stood here for 5 minutes. Non-stop they spoke on the topic. And the topics are of very, very high level. If you understood, you have benefited. And they have prepared so well. Congratulations to the team which has helped them in preparing to this level. Really, I am very, very happy today to see these children speaking so clearly on the topic. I am sure they have understood the topic. If not, even then I can tell you, it's very, very difficult to talk on this topic standing for 5 minutes here. Heartiest congratulations to all of you. You are all winners in front of us. Don't be happy with success. If you are happy, it becomes stagnated, like a stagnated water. There is a lot of scope to improve. You have to keep on improving. And if you prepare the topics like this, I can tell you from here, nobody can stop you from cracking any All India entrance examinations, whether it's UPSC, NDA or IAS or anything. You keep preparing like this, you will be the exceptional candidate for any of the entrance examination at the All India level. Please take this inspiration from these young children. I think senior children also here. The way they spoke on the topic is marvelous. They have missed out only in modulation, not on the contents of body language and any of the details. If you can have this public speaking capability, you will do well, your confidence level will go up. So each one of you should keep trying it. Do not try to bring down the quality of this Toastmasters club. It's not that your achievement should be only at the school level. We would like to see these children participating in the state level elocution competitions or the national level. You are prepared for that purpose. You are not prepared only for the school level. So, all of you, take interest. It is not only 5 of them here. Each one of you are capable. Keep preparing. As the chairman said, that what is taught in the school is not sufficient to pass any entrance examination. You have to have your independent preparation separately. That means you have to read books, magazines, newspapers, start preparing the notes. Moment you start preparing the notes, your preparation will be very, very good. I don't want to take much of time. I'm very, very happy today with today's episode. All 5 of them are done extremely well. They are really, I can say, super, and one of the best episodes of this academic year. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
एनसीसी क्लब शुरू कर।
Jai Hind to the distinguished members of Veritas Sainik School. I am C.H. Karthikeya, a proud member of Toastmastersclub, and it is my privilege to express my heartfelt gratitude on this moment. To the participants and the winners of this episode, I offer my warmest congratulations because you have managed well your time and other activities in the school. Firstly, I extend my sincere gratitude to our chairman sir, dean sir, principal sir for their constant support and planning. Nextly, to the class teachers, non-teaching staff, NTC and coaches, I express my sincere gratitude for your selfless efforts and commitment to excellence. Most importantly, I am thankful to the cadets whose enthusiasm and participation made this episode a resounding success. And I express my deepest gratitude to supportive members of Toastmasters Club, Sadia ma'am, Monica Das ma'am, Shivakumari ma'am, and Reddy Vamsi ma'am for their services. Apart from the above categories, I offer a special gratitude to Toastmasters Club in charge, who is working, preparing cadets, providing resources, and so for all the episodes behind the screen. Thank you for all. Let us rise as one and pay tribute to our great nation with our national anthem.
Squirrel! Hands up! Bharat Mata ki! Jai! Bharat Mata ki! Jai!